What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Ash Vibe Show. My name is Malik Harris.
And I need a new pencil. My name is Mackie Tocini.
And this is where you come to
Vibe with the Tribe.
Thought you were going to slip on that. I don't want that.
I know. It's just
Actually,
more
I'll put
over
it
there.
away. I don't want that. Alright, so today we are jumping into the 5 remaining Darkin theory.
Oh my god!
We saw the new cinematic, the Season 3 cinematic, which felt like a lot like a teaser trailer. I know they did drop the Season 3 like video.
Trailer,
I can't think of what to call it. No, the video that they dropped after that had like a lot of gameplay and stuff like that.
Oh.
They dropped that, and but that was more focused. I don't know. It was very confusing how they had everything labeled and whatnot. But from the cinematic, I got that we are going to be exploring Darkin. We've been in Ionia with Season 2, and I think now we're going to potentially switch over into Demacia, so I figured it would be a good time to jump into the Darkin, do a little bit more exploring, and see if we actually know where the Darkin are, where the weapons are, and just try to get some more information on the Darkin in general. So yeah, we're gonna jump into this, see what Neckert can educate us about. It's been a while since we did a League of Legends lore video, so it's gonna be fun. I'm excited. I'm doing a lot of Warhammer, so it's gonna be nice.
No, seriously, I need a pencil though.
There's one over there.
I'm not getting that one to throw on the ground.
No, another one.
No.
A sharp one.
No. There's some
let's
over
jump
there.
into this, y'all.
They can't see it, but there's some over there.
You should have been out of pencil.
Thank you.
Oh, shit, Christmas.
Huh.
Today is gonna be a little bit different, because the theory we are going to talk about is unlike any other theory on this channel. Few days ago we sat together with our Discord crew and we talked about the Darkin. We had a few different theories focused on different parts of their story, but at the end of our session, there was a spark in our conversation that ignited something bigger. Things fell in place almost far too well, as if there was no other way of explaining them. But in order to explain what we found out about the Darkin, we need to talk about a lot of different things. So even though this video might feel a bit confusing, I promise you in the end everything will fall in place.
Look at that.
That's sick.
That's crazy.
Dang.
So let's have a look at what...
Oh my god, it's been so long, I'm literally forgetting everyone's name. I was looking at... Who, is it Rhaast? Fuck, I can't even remember. Is this Rhaast? No.
No.
It's Rhaast and... Oh my gosh. Can't even remember. I can't even remember his name right now.
Darius.
Oh my jeez. My brain.
Darius?
This is not gonna go... Yeah, it's Darius.
Okay, I was about to say. It's Darius.
What we know about the 5 remaining
It's not gonna
Darkin.
go well.
Let's start with the general idea of who the Darkin are. We know they are a race from a different planet. They invaded Runeterra after sensing the major magic leak caused by the Rune Wars. And while most people think that the Darkin are just pure evil from the very beginning, those who carefully read the story know that's just not true. Varus revealed that the Darkin were working together with Runeterrans. The Darkin even gave them blood magic. It was something else that we don't know about that started the war between Runeterrans and the Darkin. Now, let's go a tiny bit back to the roots of this story. The Darkin invaded Runeterra after they noticed that the planet is a source of power. But they weren't hostile when they arrived. So they didn't want the power because they were conquerors or because of their greed. There must have been a real reason why they needed the power. And that reason is probably the same reason why they escaped their planet. It's because the Darkin homeworld was dying. Dying because of the galactic corruption we know about. The Void. This is a bold claim, but stay with me for now. Now let's jump to the comic Varus Retribution. Here we need to remember 3 important scenes.
Yeah, we still gotta go through
There is
this.
a scene where Varus fights back the invading Noxians, and as he is brought low, he is asked how many of his kind are out there, to which Varus answered, "We are all but extinct." There is also a scene where Varus says, "When I unite the 5, you will kneel as you once did before." And then there is a scene early on where he says, "We were so much more until you destroyed us, but you didn't destroy us all, and that mistake will be your undoing." When we look at these scenes, we realize that Runeterrans once kneeled before the Darkin, Probably because the Darkin were simply more powerful, even though their intentions weren't necessarily evil. But as it is with any form of power, the lesser beings fear it, and that might have been what triggered the war. It was possibly the fact that Runeterrans felt pressured by the Darkin invading their world. But what did the Darkin want here? Well, if their home world was being consumed by the Void, they had two options. Either they had to take the magic of Runeterra in order to fight back the darkness, or, and this is the more likely story, they came to Runeterra in order to rally Runeterrans against the threat that destroyed their home. This is going back to the blood magic. The Darkin gave blood magic to Runeterrans in order to defend themselves. Things are going to get more complicated, so let me sum up what we know now.
Okay,
The
cool.
Void attacked the Darkin homeworld. The
Yes.
Darkin found Runeterra. The Darkin worked together with Runeterrans to prepare them for a greater battle. Runeterrans started fearing the Darkin power and they fought them back. Here is where we need to have a look at the other two scenes from Varys' comic.
Then he's gonna end up showing the whole comic before we even read it. Yeah, I've been having like the comic on the back burner because it was a music cinematic to go along with it. Like it was like a part 1, part 2 type thing. But yeah, kind of got caught up in all the other lores, and Arcane 2 started dropping, so we never actually got around to it. So we'll probably still read it, but maybe we'll just do it in our own personal time. Off the top of your head, do you know the 5 Darkin? I know Aatrox, Varys, and Rhaast.
That one girl with that's chained together. That's a Darkin.
No, I don't think you're talking about the one that can take it off and she has blood magic. Blah blah. Blah.
Yep.
I don't think she's a Darkin. I think she was made by the Dark, or they
The
experimented
blade,
on her.
the things that holds her, traps her, is the Darkin weapon.
Huh.
And then the dog. I forgot the dog's name.
Oh, the sword, the dagger. I thought that was like Zao X8. I forgot how you spell her name. It's like Xaouli or some shit like that. Zali. I'm not really sure. God damn it! The fact that I can't remember these names is gonna kill me. I know who you're talking about. Blair is who you're talking about.
Blair.
I don't, because you have to think like they all look like Aatrox, like covered with that blood magic stuff. That's why I'm like, why is she not covered? I thought she was like an experiment or something, but I don't know if she's. Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. Yeah, we're gonna have to figure that out because I know her name's Blair. So if her weapon was a Darkin weapon, it's like, why do they never name that? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But we'll get to that one. All right. Man, it's gonna be a rough video.
He said that the Darkin race was nearly extinct, and the fact that they left few of them alive would be their undoing. But here's the thing, why would the Runeterrans seal some of the Darkin when they know they can just kill them? In fact, the army of Runeterra wiped out nearly all of them. Why wouldn't they get rid of the last 5 as well? The answer is simple. The army of Runeterra, led by the Golden Warrior Queen, as revealed in Varys' story, wasn't powerful enough to simply fight them back. They had to turn the power of their enemies against them. That's the reason why we even have sealed Darkin on Runeterra in the first place. So they wiped out most of the Darkin, but kept 5 of the most powerful ones as weapons.
Gotcha.
Don't worry, I know it's confusing and it will be even more confusing later on. But the big revelation
pretty
is
good
still
right now.
coming. Now,
Too
let's bring
confused.
Shurima into the mix. A lot of you might be wondering, why did Varys visit the tomb of the emperors at the end of his story? And we have an answer to that too. But let's first bring out the timeline of Shuriman events. At the beginning, right after Aurelian Sol visited Targonians, the Shuriman Empire rose. Then, the Battle of Icathia happened where Setaka, the warrior queen of the Ascended Host, was slain by the monsters of the Void. This confirms that Setaka cannot be the Golden Queen since she died after sealing Varys. After that, the events of Azir and Zerath destroyed the Empire. And because Varys knows Shurima as ruins, it was during this time that the Darkin invasion happened. There were 2 waves. Aatrox was in the first wave and Varys was in the second wave. Also, notice when the second wave is mentioned in the story, things are already in heat. So it seems like the first wave was a scouting party and the second wave was a full-on aggressive invasion. On that topic, you may have noticed that Varys' story says that their reckless use of magic attracted the hunger of the Darkin, who sent their fiercest warriors to conquer this new world.
Damn.
But keep in mind that this was written in the story of someone who never worked together with Runeterrans. Varus was sent to Runeterra only to kill. Riot usually writes their stories from the view of the main character. So even though here it looks like the Darkin are pure evil, they actually aren't. As a proof, the exact same thing happened with Jace and Victor. From Jace's view, Victor was an evil man, and he was even described that way. But only after reading Victor's part did we learn that he is actually the good guy. But back to the Darkin and Shurima timeline. So, Shurima rose, Icathia fell, Shurima fell, Darkin invasion, Darkin war happened, the Golden Queen sealed the Darkin, the Golden Queen closed the Darkin portal, and finally, the Golden Queen died. Now,
Queen.
here is where we start connecting things.
Okay, another thing we have to remember too is this video came out 7 years ago. So yeah, if there's any, we might be way past this now as far as like lore. We might have got all these answers. So this is where we're definitely going to count on you guys to like fill in some of these gaps, so that way we even know where to go from here. I know I have like a playlist right over here. Blade Millennia, I can't see her, and then yeah, Zolani. Yeah. So yeah, I know there's those two Darkin videos that we have. I'm sure that there's more. Obviously, Aatrox lore, we'll do that in a separate video. We had been planning on doing that with extra voice lines and stuff like that we never really got to. We only did part of the voice lines. But if there's other Darkin video too that you guys want us to cover, then we'll just do all the Darkin individually. And this will kind of just be like the introduction to everything. So that way you guys can post in the comments and kind of help guide us through the Darkin pathway, you know what I mean?
We know that the Darkin are the source of blood magic. Without them, there wouldn't even be blood magic on Runeterra. We also know that blood magic is very closely bound to resurrection or reanimation. Now, let's have a look at how the Darkin are sealed. Obviously, in Varus' story, we see that Varus is sealed inside a well. A well that is told to fix that which is broken, as quoted from the comic. This is obviously referring to the Darkin power to resurrect through blood magic, which is exactly what the well does in the story. It resurrects Sky. So we know that the well is filled with blood magic, which is a bit obvious since a Darkin is inside. Now, since we know that one of the Darkin was successfully sealed inside a well, the chances are all other Darkin were also sealed inside wells. It just makes sense. Why would the Golden Queen use different forms of seals when she knows they can use the wells? But if you don't trust my logic, I have a proof that it is the wells that hold the Darkin sealed. When I looked at the ending of Varus' story, where he went down the tomb and looked for his sister, I was thinking his sister could have been Sivir's blade or maybe Renekton's blade, since the corruption would match. But things just didn't add up. How would he know his sister was there? If Varus was already locked away, how could he know where his other surviving kin were sealed? How would he know where to go? He only knew Shurima as ruins. It couldn't be Sivir's blade because her blade was sealed far away from the tomb in order to keep the key safe. So Varus couldn't have known his sister was the blade, because even if he knew where to go, the blade never was inside the tomb in the first place. Renekton's blade was mentioned in a story long before the first Darkin invasion, so it couldn't have been Renekton's blade either. So Varus was looking for something else inside the tomb, and after a while it clicked with me. It wasn't an item or a person he was looking for inside these tombs. It was a place that was shown during the Bloodline events. The well below Shurima. The well that holds the power to resurrect. The well which is triggered by Sivir's blood. The well which holds the power of blood magic Varus is looking for. The same well that is right next to where Varus' story ended. The only difference between this well and the one in Palace is their appearance. The one in Shurima is pure, and that's because we have never seen one of these wells without a Darkin inside. So if the Shuriman well is pure, that means the Darkin is already free. The same Darkin Varus calls his sister. That's why he couldn't find her. From this point on, everything begins to fall in place. Let's have a look at all the magical wells we
I
know
wonder if
about.
that's Zoali.
There is one in Palace in Ionia, which held Varus. There is one in Shurima, the mother of all life as they call it. which held Varys' sister. There is a blood well in Noxus, the heart of all blood magic where Sion was resurrected and where Mordekaiser kept resurrecting over and over again. This is most likely
Sion.
where Rhaast was held, since we know the scythe comes from
Oh, I didn't
Noxus.
see Sion
Then
in the
there is the
background.
Shadow Isles, previously known as the Blessed
body
Isles, a place known for its healing waters and the power to resurrect the dead. The Ruined King tried to resurrect his queen here, but he failed and destroyed everything. It is
Okay.
possible that the resurrection spell didn't fully work because the place was corrupted by the Darkin power. If that's the case, I have no idea what happened to the Darkin inside. And as a bonus fact to support this theory, the name of Aatrox's passive is Bloodwell. This gives us 4 places with 4 wells that curiously fall insanely well into this theory. Now, you might be asking, why would the Golden Queen seal the final 5 Darkin in random places? Well, the easy answer is to spread the corruption. Rather than concentrating the power in one place, it is better to spread it around, so that if one Darkin is released, the others don't follow right after. That's why the Queen scattered the wells across Runeterra. So we have Ionia with Varys, Noxus with Rhaast, Shurima with the sister.
Oh, Varys is in Ionia? Well, that's interesting, with us watching that cinematic and then seeing the Darkin being resurrected and
Yeah.
everything with Alticon.
Yep.
That's crazy. Oh, I'm gonna rewind, actually. Once he said fucking Varys and Ionia, I got...
Don't follow right after. That's why the Queen scattered the wells across Runeterra. So we have Ionia with Varys,
Okay, Varys. I'm gonna write these down, because...
Noxus with Rhaast,
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know Brer's in Noxus too, so...
Shurima with the sister, and the Shadow Isles with an unknown Darkin.
Shurima with the sister. I feel like that's... fuck, I can't remember how to say her name already.
Now the final question is, where is the 5th well where Aatrox was sealed? When you look at all the regions of Runeterra, there are not too many places left. I doubt Targon would be a part of this. I doubt Demacia would have anything to do with magic either way. Piltover and
Yeah.
Zoon are just cities and not regions. Then there is Bilgewater, but that is too close to the Shadow Isles. So the last place that makes sense is Freljord. Not only does the Tryndamere and Aatrox story fit into this theory too, but Freljord is known for its shapeshifters and dark magic. So while we don't really know where in Freljord it could be, it is the only place that makes sense. So, now that we know who these last Darkin could be and where they could be from, let's look at some of the hints we have for future stories. Swain's teaser mentioned that the enemy comes from within. I think this is directly pointing at the core of Noxus. Not only is it confirmed to hold blood magic, but even Shen teleported here to fight some demons. So Noxus is definitely holding great power and Swain wants to deal with it. Also, we know that Swain was given Vastayan magic, and at the end of Varys' story, he mentions that a creature with bird-like features and a withered arm told him this is Shurima. It is
I would love to see this story of Shen teleporting here and then fighting demons and fucking Nox. That's...
That'd be
You guys know...
crazy.
I don't know if that's there's a comic or a cinematic or if it's like a story from the League page, but if you guys know where to find that at, definitely let me know, because that sounds fucking dope. That sounds super dope.
likely that this was the creature from whom Swain took the power, since Riot wouldn't make such a detailed side character for no reason. Also, some people were confused by the soul of Varys, and I just want to say that he looks like a blue human because he was slowly drawing power from all the lost souls around the place. It was even mentioned in the behind the scenes video. He was slowly growing stronger until Val and Kai jumped in. And the last thing I want to mention is Aatrox. We never really knew why Aatrox was doing what he was doing. He appeared in the middle of a war, empowered one side and let them slaughter the other side. Now it makes sense. Aatrox is preparing the warriors for the greater enemy, the Void. He enraged Tryndamere and turned him into a powerful unit. He made sure the wiser mages won the rune wars, wiping out the weak and making the strong stronger. Aatrox isn't mindlessly making Runeterrans fight each other. He is creating an army ready to fight. An army he couldn't get any other way since his kin are gone. The other possibility is that this is just the way Darkin replicate. Maybe they turn mortal bodies into Darkin. But that would still mean Aatrox is making his own warriors.
Shout out Aatrox.
And that's pretty much it for this theory. I feel really good about this because things just work too well in this. So right now we are missing one Darkin, and we need to know what's happening in Freljord. I doubt the Watchers would be a part of this, but anything is possible. So, that's it for this video. If you liked it, feel free to rate the video and subscribe for more lore. You can also follow us on Twitter, Facebook and Discord if you'd like to chat. Few days ago we released a new episode of Know Your Lore with Bricky, so make sure to check it out too. Merch and PO Box will be in the description. And with that, thank you all so much for watching and for your support. You know I really appreciate it. And as always, thank you guys again.
Appreciate you. Okay. Oh, I don't know what I just put. Whoa. Lore trivia show. Oh, I'm not committing to that. But I feel like for getting Darkin lore, I don't feel like I got a lot of Darkin lore per se. I feel like that was more of like a big theory video.
Yeah.
And it makes me want to try to find another lore video of Darkin. You know what I mean? To add to this video. It wasn't the original plan, but yeah, I really feel like we should try to find something else to add on this. Zolani. And this is only 2 years ago. Okay, maybe that's the one. Yeah, it's a lot more recent because yeah, that's the thing. His last video was 7 years ago. Everything we know about the Darkin. I mean, this is 8 years ago, so this is even older. But it's probably giving a bunch of other information. Twilight of the Gods, Darkin story. Okay, there's a lot of video. 46 minutes. All right, man. I'm not gonna make this an hour and a half long video. That's not what we're gonna do. We're still gonna break this up into different pieces. I think we'll go ahead and do like the all about the Darkin video. Yeah, because I feel like that's the most similar to what we're kind of already on.
Yeah.
And then we'll go and we'll do the more recent video a lot sooner. Or we'll do it later. Soon. Yeah. Alright, everything we need to know about the Darkin.
Hello everyone
Keep
and
not writing these
welcome.
down.
I didn't think I would make another video about Kain so soon, but knowing we have about a week before we get the full story of Kain and Rhaast, I decided to gather up all the
That's the part
information
that
we
throws me
have
off.
about the race
Like
known as
the
the
person
Darkin.
and the weapon.
By
sometimes.
summarizing everything we know, we can avoid confusion when debating what is even happening. So let's start with the basics. Ever since the universe update, it's been known that only 5 living Darkin remain. It doesn't specifically say they remain on Runeterra, but we can assume they are not an intergalactic species. The one Darkin we know a lot about is Aatrox. His title is the Darkin Blade, and remember that title because we will talk about it later. Aatrox is the Darkin of War, meaning different Darkin feed off of different essences. Aatrox feeds off the blood on the battlefield. Whenever he slices an enemy, his blade drinks in whatever it can. We know about 2 events in which Aatrox played his part.
I know about Darkin
Because of his close connection to blood, he obviously wants to cause the greatest bloodshed possible. The one event more known to people is the Freljordian Barbarian War. In this war, Tryndamere led his small group of barbarians against an army of enemy tribe. During the battle, Tryndamere was mortally wounded by a mysterious figure which appeared out of nowhere. Of course, this figure was Aatrox. The wound enraged Tryndamere and gave him incredible strength. With this power, Tryndamere was able to slaughter the remaining warriors of the enemy tribe alone. We can assume that Aatrox returned after the job was done to collect all the blood. The other event from Aatrox's history happened hundreds of years before that. During the Rune Wars, there were 2 factions at war, known as the Protectorate and the Mage Lords. We know about these 2 factions because they represent the 2 sides of the Summoner's Rift. The Mage Lords were the dominant faction when it came to the final battle. The warriors of the Protectorate knew their chances of victory were slim. Just moments before their charge into the battle, Aatrox appeared among them and inspired them with a few words before charging forward as their leader. His presence alone inspired the warriors, and with their newly found power they slaughtered the Mage Lords. Aatrox mysteriously disappeared after the battle, but the warriors' fury did not. After their victory, their fury fell and they realized their triumph was but a brutal atrocity committed by their own hands. During Aatrox's teaser before his release, Ezreal revealed some artifacts he found depicting the Darkin. We've got a stained glass from Demacia, a statue from Noxus, books from Piltover's Academy, urn from Shurima, Freljordian dagger, Ionian carved woodblock, and Twisted Fate's coins. From all these, we know that the Darkin were playing their roles all over Runeterra, or at least Aatrox was. That's all the basics we knew up until now, but with Kane's voiceover released, we know a lot more. We know that Kane is from Ionia and that he is a loyal follower of Zed in the Order of Shadows. And we know that Rhaast is the Darkin of Death. But when we get to Kane's weapon, it gets a bit tricky. It seems like the lore nerds of the internet divided into two groups. Those who believe the Darkin are not the figures but they are the weapons, and those who believe the Darkin make more Darkin through their weapons. I don't necessarily think either theory is 100% right, but let's look at the reasons why people think that.
Yeah.
The theory that Aatrox and Rhaast are in fact the weapons have some solid points. For one, Aatrox's title suddenly makes sense, and Kane calls Aatrox and Rhaast blades.
You and Rhaast.
Good analysis.
Failed blades.
This is when Necrit earned his stripes.
The main point is the fact that Rhaast literally consumes Kane through the scythe, and the figure we call Aatrox is holding a living blade which moves on its own. Kane in Darkin form and Aatrox are very similar, and yet there is one difference. In Aatrox's lore it says that he moves together with his blade in unison, as if they were one being. While that may be true for Kane too, when he gets consumed by Rhaast, the eye that was on his blade remains there even after the transformation. This means that while Kane became corrupted by Rhaast, Rhaast is still inside the blade. Only in his Shadow Assassin form is Rhaast destroyed and the eye truly disappears. As a side note, I would love to point out the beautiful choice of art for this eye. It is wary at the start of the game and you either choose to open it or close it to choose your form. So, there is one more thing we need to talk about. There are 5 living Darkin somewhere in the world. We know about 2, Aatrox and Rhaast, so where are the other 3? Well, luckily Rhaast confirmed the 3rd Darkin, or at least the person corrupted by him. Varus. Rhaast has a quote in which he talks to Varus as if he was one of them. Notice that at first he mentions 3, and then he corrects himself to 5 Darkin.
Varus, the 3 of us, 5 of us, well, together we will lay waste to this realm.
Damn.
This is likely because he is aware that the 2 last Darkin are hiding and he doesn't want to reveal them. But he also mentions that he is not sure, so maybe he actually doesn't know about the other Darkin at all.
And then there were 4, I think.
But things get complicated even more when you look at the other quotes aimed at Varus. It seems
Damn,
like
level of
Rhaast is
detail,
mocking
even
him
back
with the
then-
name
back
Demon
then.
Pants. Also notice that Kane doesn't say a single word, so he doesn't know.
Demon Pants had it coming.
My explanation is that Varus himself is of no interest to Rhaast. It is the corruption and most likely the corrupted bow which indicates that he was touched by a Darkin, and Rhaast knows. Unless Varus gets a lore update too. In his story we learn that the corruption that touched him was sealed in a well. And my immediate reaction was that all the other Darkin were bound to physical objects. So this well of dark power must be something else. So at this point I have no idea how can Varus be connected to the Darkin, or possibly what the well even is if it is connected to the Darkin. There is one more champion we have to mention when it comes to Aatrox. If you remember, more than a year ago, a Darkin appeared in Jax's art. Now, it was removed from everywhere apart from his game info page, meaning it is most likely not part of the story. And even if it was, maybe it was just Aatrox and he empowered Jax just like he empowered Tryndamere. So it doesn't confirm the 4th Darkin. The reason why I am confident saying we should ignore it for now is because how outdated the page is. If you scroll down, you can learn about the fields of justice.
Damn, young necker.
So, what can we expect in the near future? Definitely a bio and a short story for Kayn. New short story for Aatrox and maybe an updated bio too. We could also get an update for Varus and possibly for Zed too. Outside of these, it is all just guessing. Shen probably won't be touched, but we could get some info on Akali.
That would be crazy.
Apparently, she was one of Zed's students too. And the last one with a tiny chance of an update is Syndra, since she is somewhat connected to the Order of Shadows too.
Oh, Syndra, yeah.
All in all, it seems like the Darkin are the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Only the Darkin are 5 and they don't have horses. But we know they all have one goal: to shred this world to pieces through conflicts. But that's it for this video. This is pretty much all the canon information we have right now, and it should be enough to prepare you for whatever stories will arrive. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to rate it as you want. And
So this is basically part 1 of the other video, and we kind of watched them in reverse.
Yeah.
I don't remember them. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Rhaast was mentioned in here. I haven't even finished this yet, so maybe I haven't got to like the full section.
Are you gonna spoil it for yourself?
Well, I just want to see if this really goes in depth, because if so, then I'm definitely going to prioritize going through this now. Because, yeah, I remember I put in the bid and stuff, I got it. Yeah, and then I kind of like skim read through it, but we were doing so many videos and things that I never got around to finishing the full thing. But yeah, Rhaast is here on the front. I didn't see him in the book, actually, when I just kind of skimmed through. So, yeah, who knows how much they actually dive into his story. So, yeah, a lot of lore out there, man. A lot of things that we got to kind of figure out about these Darkins, especially now that they're about to become like a main topic again, or at least it seems like that based off the cinematic. Again, that's why we jumped into all this stuff, just to kind of get our feet wet a little bit and see if we could pick up some information. Yeah, I think the next video that we do, yeah, we'll go into this Zolani. Yeah, this has to be the sister that they were talking about. And again, if there's like I said, this is only 2 years ago. The last video we just watched was 8 years and 7 years. So this is 6 years later. So I imagine there's going to be a good amount of lore in this video. Blood of the Gods, Darkin story. Damn, it's a long video. Might do that individually. Ionian Darkin. Inara, I think we watched that already. Oh, the dog. Oh yeah, Nefiri. That's right. Yeah, by the other video. I don't know if we watched it on the channel, but I think I watched it separately because it goes through Yunara's story. We watched the motion comic. Yeah, we watched the motion comic that he was watching. Yeah, this right, or not this, but yeah, this comic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we
watched
watched
this,
that
and he kind of goes through and he just talks about the cinematic in this. But yeah, basically the whole video is him going through this essentially. So yeah, okay, cool. We got the 5 Darkin names at least. A lot more to discover. So if you guys want to help us with that, if you guys want to see us explore, sorry, there's all these videos. Jesus Christ, 10 most legendary weapons in League of Legends. Why have I never seen this? Damn it, I'll add that to the list. A lot of League content coming, y'all. That's the point I'm getting at here. We're jumping back into it heavy. We have a lot of videos. I can't think. I got a list of things everywhere. This Warhammer really fucked up my brain, honestly. I think we've been diving so deep. We did 40K, and then we did
Total War.
Yeah, we did all the Total War stuff. Started jumping to like the fantasy world, and then we split off from Age of Sigmar and the old world. And now we're learning about both of these, and just it really scrambled all my League of Legends lore information. So we got to get a little bit of fresher. But I promise we will be back strong. We'll be dropping a bunch of content, and it will be really dope. So.
Don't be afraid to also comment down below, and make sure to go to our Discord too. Very popping there, and we got a lot of comments, and the community is growing.
Yeah, we got a lot of Discords popping every day. There's always Warhammer stuff. There's always League of Legends updates and keeping everything up to date. So if you guys want to get back into the swing of things with us, Discord is definitely a place to do it. If you want to see these League of Legends videos faster instead of week by week, you can check out our Patreon and our YouTube memberships. Those are really going to have a lot of content in these next coming weeks.
With that being said, thank you guys for being here and watching this episode with us. He drops off. Until then, we won't drop anything next time. We'll
All right,
see you
y'all.
then.
Much love. Peace.